Hi there, it's Bartholomew Perez with
Juanita G.
today's question. Our focus can be in several places, and I think if we focus, I think we can naturally make a decision much more easier. So,
Yep.
where should our attention be? Interest rates, home ownership, inventory, or goals? Where should it be?
Those are all great questions. So
Difficult.
I would say the main focus would be the goal.
Okay.
Okay, because that's really what's gonna put every other piece in place.
Okay.
What is the ultimate goal for the buyer? Home ownership, everything else pretty much, goes out the window. The reason why is because the market does what it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always see this in real estate, sometimes it'll like flatline and then it's always going up regardless.
Yep.
Now, so if you plan on being in the home for 5 years, 10 years, your entire life, you're going to have growth in the home. So if you're buying in when the rates are high, well, rates are going to do what they do. So if the rates are high, does that mean that you're never going to buy a house?
That's right.
Right? I mean, if you need a house and if you want a house, right, you're going to buy one.
Yeah, you're going to buy one.
And if the rates improve, great, because guess what? You're already locked in at that lower price. So all you do is improve the rate and take advantage of an additional savings.
Yeah.
So I would say that the focus would be the goal, 100%, because that's what can help you, just set your mind around everything else. And along with the goal is, also being very, how do I say this? Acceptable, right, to your mortgage budget.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to live in Beverly Hills. Everybody wants to drive, I don't know, what's one of the most expensive cars? A Lamborghini.
Sure.
Okay? I'm not a car person.
Bugatti.
Oh, God. Okay, there you go. But does everybody want to pay for that?
Sure. Can they pay for that?
Can they pay for that? I mean, yeah. I mean, just, you know your budget, more than anybody. So if your budget aligns with, the home, and sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices. I mean, in life, people that have always, gone for more, achieved more, have always had to sacrifice something.
Absolutely.
So you might be sacrificing location, right, for home ownership, but just look at it as a temporary sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it's your first house.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your first house,
That's right?
Let it grow in equity. 4 or 5 years later, when your career, has grown, your income has grown, your equity has grown. Now you're putting in larger down payment, upgrading from location, side of town. I mean,
right.
We see it happen all the time, but it's all a matter of just starting somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd agree and echo that, where your goal and the long-term plan is much more important. Everything else comes thereafter, and you should budget for it accordingly.
Yes.
Like, you're already paying for either rent and somebody else's mortgage. So this is where now you take ownership of considering what sort of debt service you're going to carry for 30 years or 15 years, whatever that term is. The other part to it is, if you're of the growth mindset, your income should grow along with your equity. Whatever the market decides to do, it might give you the opportunity later on to refinance. Great. There's lower rates. You have equity in the home. And then, okay, depending on what you want to do, what you were describing, the first home doesn't have to be your forever home. And so as a starter home, that gives you a lot of room for flexibility. And I think the value behind having options and exercising options is much more important than not having any at all.
Right.
Really having a plan, having your team in place so that they can guide you accordingly, give you suggestions, maybe look at scenarios that you might have not considered. If it means adjusting to a different location, so be it. It's only temporary. It doesn't have to be permanent. And at the same time, it's you're taking advantage of what you know, because information is only good in today's world. Tomorrow, who knows what's going to happen, but if you listen and you follow what we're sharing, and at the same time what is being announced by right now the Fed, right? Because everything is going to have a trickling effect based on these Fed rate announcements and what they're deciding to do. So not being informed, I think, is the worst thing anybody can do. So your attention should be and focus should be on your long-term plan. And if homeownership is part of that plan accordingly, make it happen, and make sure that the right team is involved to help that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, just to add to this, if you struggle with creating a budget, I've actually started doing this with a few clients now, younger clients. Again, this is not something that they teach us in high school or in college, how to budget, the importance of credit. If you need assistance with creating a budget, I have a sheet that is very simple that can definitely help. And I mean, we can help break it down. So definitely, feel free to reach out, because that's another step that, we can also help you with financially.
Well, have Juanita's contact so that you can share that directly with them if somebody requests that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, to be continued.
See you later.